As a sales manager, you're constantly trying to balance your time between two demographics within your organization. One of those demographics are your new hires. Those are people that have been on your team for less than 24 months. And the other demographic are those people that have been in your organization for more than 24 months, and we refer to those as your tenured employees. As we think about that, we're going to break down what we've identified as best practices for managing those two distinct demographics. When it comes to new hires, we've identified a best practice of spending time to help them plan their sales call objectives. What are those things that they need within the conversations they're having with your customers to be successful to move an opportunity through the pipeline? The next is we see sales managers that create a block of time in the form of office hours. And during these office hours, these employees, your new hires, can come to you with questions or spend time on developing additional skills that they need to be proficient in their jobs. The third item is really focused on collaboration. Sales managers like you spend their time helping these new hires collaborate and build a relationship with their peers within the organization. And that leads directly into the fourth, which is that peer-to-peer support group. Let's be honest, many of you are outnumbered in terms of the people you support. In many industries, we see averages of rep to manager ratios as high as 11-1. You can't be all things to all people, and we know you're being asked to do more with less. So by creating this peer support group, it empowers your organization and your team to help these new hires transition and contribute to the overall goals. The next piece is they develop the competencies that they need to be successful. Those are those skills that they need to help drive and create differentiating value for your organization. Now, we just discussed how sales managers use those best practices for the first demographic, which is around the new hires. Well, now let's transition and talk about those tenured employees. And instead of doing those call objectives, they transition and focus on weekly deal reviews. They use the information that's embedded in the CRM system to identify what is it that we need to be focused on to create value for the opportunity so that it advances in our sales cycle. The next focus that we see for those tenured employees is they focus on weekly strategy sessions. And in these sessions, we're identifying who are the key decision makers that we have access to and who are those that we need to gain access to and how can we create value for them in those conversations. And the third piece for this tenured group is they focus on influence instead of collaboration. Influence is using the knowledge, your skills, and your ability to help drive a defined outcome for your customers. And when we can do that, we can create new mentorship opportunities and allow those tenured reps to serve as advisors, which is our fourth step. They can then start to advise and to collaborate with their peers using the influence that we previously discussed. And lastly, but certainly not least, this group is focused on developing proficiencies. And I always like to think of proficiencies as their ability to deliver a skill over and over again in a way that immediately connects with the customer. As I said in the opening, we realize that there's a challenge as a sales manager to balance your time between these demographics, and we want this video and the resources below to help you strategize and balance your time so that you are more effective as a sales manager and you can elevate yourself to becoming a game-changing coach.